Hey everyone, I want to thank you for checking out today's broadcast. My name is Jonathan, and today is day 395 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. If this is your first time checking out my video, a little bit about me and the channel. I'm 39 years old, I'm married, we have 4 children together, and I've been overweight my whole life. I created this channel as a way to keep myself accountable and to record my weight loss. Uh, because I was at a point last year where I knew I needed to do something. I had gotten up over 500 pounds and I didn't have any um, diagnoses of anything, but I definitely was right on the edge of heading that way. So um, I started this challenge. I kind of took a lot of Anthony saying Merry Christmas, Anthony. Santa Fa. There you go. That's funny. The um you got me all sidetracked with the Santa emoji. I think that's the first time anybody's put an emoji in any of my chat feeds before. So that's cool. Anyways, um so I started this channel with 2 huge goals in mind. The first one is that I need to stick to it, or I need to focus on my weight for longer than I ever have before. A lot of times in the past, I would set a goal that was short term, like, hey, I got a wedding I want to attend coming up, or there's an event going on in a few months. I want to lose as much weight as possible before that event. Or I hit a goal, or I stick to a diet for a long time, but then I start to let other things come into my diet and I go back to my kind of old ways and I gain all the weight back. So I decided this time that I needed to commit to it for longer than I ever have before. And so that's why I chose to commit to this for 3 years. The other half of this was that uh, I need to lose a lot of weight. And in the past, I've set goals that I kind of felt were realistic goals. Um, a lot of times it's been to get down to like 275 or 300 pounds. And I've gotten to that weight before. And when I get there, I'm still really overweight. I mean, at 300 pounds, I'd still have a BMI of 40%. So, in order for me to no longer be considered obese, I need to get down to a much lighter weight. And so that's why I chose the challenge myself to lose 300 pounds. So far, it's been going wonderfully. In the first year, I've been able to lose over 200 pounds, or right at 200 pounds actually, in the first year. And I still have 2 years to go. The next 100 pounds are going to be much more difficult to get off, but I have a lot of time to do it. Uh, if anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear them. Any questions, comments, let me know. Uh, and then if you haven't already, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell icon, turn on notifications. You can join the family and kind of follow along with my weight loss here. So, um, not a whole lot going on since yesterday. I say that every time. I might as well just add that as part of my intro. Hey, this is Jonathan with not a whole lot going on since yesterday. Uh, but I did stick totally to my diet since yesterday. I didn't have any snacks or any there was a temptation yesterday. Carrie made pizzas for us, and I never think to get the photos ready. I did take a photo of our pizza. Maybe I'll put it up in the Discord. Um, but we had pizza last night. We had a pizza that was for us that had onions and lots of red peppers on it. Um, and some other things, just a mix of vegetables. And then Carrie also made a pizza for the kids that had the kind of fake cheese. And I think we had like Beyond breakfast sausage that she put on it. It looked very tempting, or it looked very good. But I was able to resist the temptation of trying it. I um, kind of checking my weight since Thanksgiving, disappointed with the weight loss, but it also is very motivating to kind of get right back at it. Um, I'm going to be weighing in tomorrow, and part of this is that I I don't want to be chasing the scale the whole time. And I feel like since my 9-month weigh-in when I was 310 pounds, and there was a whole series of things that kind of led to that great weigh-in. I mean, it was wonderful to lose that, over 200 pounds in 9 months. But I feel like since that point, I had the surgery on my arm. I've just kind of been chasing the scale, and every kind of month, because I switched to weighing in monthly, I'm kind of freaking out at the end of the month, and there's not much I can do, especially this month with Thanksgiving and the travel and everything. And I don't want to be uh fasting my to right now. I just don't want to be fasting right now. So, um the so I'm eating back to normal. I'm going to get back to the way I was eating when I was losing weight. I'm not going to have the kind of out restaurant eating out meals. I'm going to try to avoid them. I really hope I can. The only thing that I can think of in the foreseeable future is Christmas, and then also I have a doctor's appointment thing with one of my kids that anyways, but really Christmas is the only thing first, and we're planning on having the tofurkey like we had at Thanksgiving. And we're not traveling. So that's going to help out a lot. But one of the things I am going to do is I'm going to weigh in tomorrow, whatever the scale weighs me at, I'm going to be at that. And then I am going to start doing the weekly weigh-ins again. I'm uh I just feel like maybe, like when I do, even like last month, like I weighed in and it was stressful to try to be under 200 pounds, where I was stressing about whether or not I was going to be under 200 pounds. And then I weighed in, I, I was under 200 pounds lost, or over 200 pounds lost. I guess I was at 319, um, but then I kind of feel like I might have binged a little bit, because I was like, well, I'm not going to weigh in for another month, so it doesn't matter. And then that kind of, it didn't pan out the way I thought it was going to at the beginning of the month, because of all the travel that we had at the end of the month. Anyways, so I'm going to weigh in tomorrow, and then I'm going to go back to doing the weekly weigh-ins on Wednesdays after this Wednesday, this weigh-in this week. The holiday will screw that up, of course. I don't know what day of the week that Christmas and New Year's is on. I pull it up really quick. So it's going to be on, yeah. So it shouldn't screw up my weigh-ins. I should be able to weigh in on the 22nd and then the 29th again. So, um, but anyways, with the Carrie says good idea with the weighing in, I imagine. So um but food wise, so we had pizza. It was something we hadn't had in a while, and it was really awesome. It was uh pretty sauce heavy. That definitely had a lot of sauce on it, but it was really it's a great sauce that Carrie makes. I believe she has that pizza crust recipe on the Pinterest board, but it is like an oat crust that she makes. Carrie says her birthday's coming up in December here, so we have to decide if we're going to celebrate that with food or not. She'll have to make herself some brownies. I didn't talk about it, but we had some brownies down in St. Louis that were salt, oil, sugar-free brownies that I totally forgot we even ate until right now, but I definitely had some of those. But they were really good. Anyways, let's get back to food. We had pizza. We had a little bit going on. I ended up eating later than 7 o'clock. I didn't even actually eat dinner until after 7 o'clock yesterday, because we had a bunch of running around to do. I kind of started the stream early so that I would have time to do all that stuff. And so I was not able to eat until after my son's choir concert. But I had the pizza, and I'm trying to think. I might have had toast as well. Carrie says it's okay. So the crust that we have is the polenta pizza on the Pinterest. Wait, I should read it. So it says it's the polenta pizza on Pinterest. She uses a different crust, 2 potatoes, 1 cup of rolled oats, and 1 cup of water. Okay. So, um, but yeah, I uh kind of one of the things that I end up doing when I'm eating these 2 meals a day is my second meal is larger, and I didn't eat a ton yesterday. I could have eaten more actually, but I'm trying to rein it in a little bit. A Thanksgiving epiphany, put curry seasoning and cream of spinach. It was so, so good. That's awesome. Yeah, is cream of spinach isn't the cream and cream of spinach, guess I don't know. I imagine there's, uh Carrie says she loves curry. Yes. Yes, I absolutely. We had kind of a curry for our the day after Thanksgiving, I guess, not the Thanksgiving dinner. Let's see. And then this morning, back on track with the oatmeal. It is nice to have our oatmeal again at home. I guess it feels like it just gets made different or better or something. We also have a mix of steel cut and oat groats that we make. When we were down in St. Louis, we didn't have any steel cut, so we were just eating oat groats, and so it might have cooked a little bit different. All kinds of variables, I'm sure. Um, but yeah, so then that's kind of been my food. Uh, yeah, there are dairy products. Okay. Um, the So the food really, I'm getting right back at it. I feel great. I'm happy to be back at it. Kind of back into the routine here after being gone for a week. My leg, I talked about it a lot, like on my recap, and I guess I've talked about it, but I feel like my right calf kind of swelled up a little bit. Like that might be where um, some of my weight gain is at, is fluid that is in my like in my calves, one of anyways. Um, let's see. I've been listening to the book, Simon Hill's book called The Proof is in the Plants. I really enjoy the book. Right now, I'm at a part where he's kind of going through his 8 tips. I don't know how much more of the book I have left now that I say that. It looks like I'm at about 2.5 hours left. And he's kind of talked about a lot of science of things, and now he's kind of giving his recommendations. Like I said, he has 8 kind of um principles that he kind of builds off of, and I'm only through the first 2 and kind of part of the third one. The principles that I'm through though is focus on food groups and not on the macronutrients. So he has his own food pyramid in the book, and another I talked a little bit about the him referencing podcast episodes, like, if you want to learn more about this subject, listen to this podcast episode where I talk to this guy about that topic. Another thing that happens, and it happens with any audiobook that you're going to listen to, but he references uh, figures in the PDF download. Or in the book, it would just be the graph, graph 17A shows this list of healthy foods, graph 22B does this. And so, um, anyways, that was, focus on the food groups, focus on the eating the variety, or, uh, from each of his food groups kind of that he has on his food pyramid. And then his second principle was be fiber obsessed. That was one of the topics where he has multiple podcasts with the doctor who did the forward to his book, where he talks about, well, hey, listen to this podcast 100, 121, 134, and 165 for more information. But he does talk a lot more, or he talks a lot in the book about good gut bacteria and bad gut bacteria, and what promotes good bacteria and bad bacteria. Uh, Talks about prebiotic uh, and postbiotic, and so he does talk a lot about gut health, and that has become much more prevalent in conversations than it ever was before. 10 years ago, nobody was talking about the bugs that were in your guts digesting the food. In fact, I read a book. It was Fit for Life or something. It was Diamond, I think, was the guy that wrote the book, but it was talked about eating fruits and things like that. And he talked a lot more about like when, fruit rotting through your system and not so much about the bugs that were eating the food. So that's been part of this book. He's talked a lot about gut health. And then, yeah, that's what I'm in right now. So the fiber obsessed, maybe I skipped. Yeah, so it was the three principles I've through so far: focus on food groups, be fiber obsessed, and diversity is the key for gut health. And then I really some of the principles he talks about in the book are interesting in that, like, variety. He talks a lot about variety, especially in this part of the book that I'm on right now, and he recommends eating 40 different plants a week. Like, so, spinach is a plant, kale's a plant, apples are a plant, and so just kind of having a variety of, he said studies showed having over 30 was beneficial. And I feel like he said 40 at one point that he recommend trying to reach that level of variety of food, because he says that by having the variety of food, it gives your gut all of the nutrients it could possibly need to create what it needs to create. And we live in an environment now where we are able to get that full variety of foods. So, um, but I was trying to think. I mean, I feel like 40 is a lot. I mean, even 30 seems like a lot of different plants to eat. I'm sure we do. I mean, between the seeds and the onions and the peppers and the um and everything that we eat, I'm sure we hit that variety. But overall, I am enjoying the book. I like the information that he is presenting, and it's definitely worth listening to. Like I said, though, if you are into reading books, it might be better to read, because you would have a lot of these PDF or these or the graphs and charts that he is referencing on the audio book. You'd have those at your fingertips and be able to see what he's talking about. But he does a decent job explaining things still, so you're not totally in the woods. Let's see. We ended up getting a membership yesterday to our local community rec center. We had been kind of going back and forth about what to do. I definitely feel like going into the winter and the fact that I've been kind of stalled with my weight loss, I do want to try to find a way to be active in the winter. We live in a climate that, with the changing temperature, and one day it can be beautiful out and the next day it could be -10 and 3 inches of snow on the ground. So by having a membership somewhere that they have a little bit of cardio equipment, they have some weights. The other thing that I wanted to do as well is that I'm done going to physical therapy for my distal bicep tendon tear, and I'd like to work on strengthening my arm. I don't notice it as much maybe this last week um, with doing things, but I'm definitely weaker on my left arm than I am my right. I mean, I'm only 4 months out from surgery at this point. So I'd like to be able to go to a gym that has some weights that would allow me to work on strengthening my arm. So we kind of went back and forth about whether or not to get a membership at like a YMCA where they have a lot of facilities. We've had memberships at the YMCA in the past. You know, you have swimming pool, track, there's classes, there's basketball courts. Um, but the thing that we run into with the YMCA is the hours that it is available aren't the greatest hours. And we've had issues with some of the services aren't as reliable as we'd like. Like, you know, we've tried to go swimming and they haven't had lifeguards, or they haven't been able to do daycare, or the daycare hours don't work for our schedule. And then it's also 20 minutes from where we live. So there's a little bit of a distance to get there as far as gyms go. The other option was there is like a 24-hour fitness center near us where it is just kind of, you get a key card, you can go in, you can do some working out. Um, if you want to do cardio, you want to do machine lifting, there are some dumbbells, things like that. Uh, and so the downsides to that for me is that it's not family conducive. So if I wanted to take my kids while I go and do cardio or lifting and they want to play basketball or they want to play, there's not much that they could do at a place like that. Also, they would have to probably have a membership to even bring my kid. If I wanted to do cardio with my son, uh, I wouldn't be able to just bring him into a place like that. So the other alternative was our local rec center. It is like Carrie says here, the rec center is pretty no frills, but it's very close to our house. It's only a couple minute drive from our house. There's basketball courts inside the rec center. There's a gymnasium that I don't imagine gets used a lot. And so if we wanted to go and uh, do some things with the kids inside that gymnasium, we'd be able to, you know, playing like volleyball kind of things, or just having an open space to play. And then also having the cardio equipment and the weight room there would allow me to essentially use that while they're playing in the gym, or to be able to be lifting weights while they're, you know, doing cardio or doing something with us as well. So, and also the benefit for the rec center is it was really cheap. For our family, it was, I think it's $22 a month for the family. And then we didn't have to sign any type of contract or any commitment like I was worried about having to do with a 24-hour fitness place or the YMCA. They just allowed us. In fact, we only signed up for 2 months at this point, and at the end of 2 months we can decide whether or not we want to go on. But for $45 or $50 that it cost for us to sign up for the 2 months, it seemed like it was uh, a no-brainer to at least give it a chance. I know I've heard rumors that the cardio equipment isn't always working, but at $22 a month for the family, you can't expect too much. And um, so we're gonna give it a try. I might get out there today. I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous just because I've never been there. I don't want to walk in while they're in the middle of doing something, or somebody's got their routine that they already do. And if I show up at 6:15 and get on a bike, you know, or something, and that's their time, uh, I don't want to screw that up. But I don't think that there's a lot of people that use the rec center on the regular. But maybe I'll become one of those people that ends up being in there more. I am excited about doing some things with the kids there, like the basketball. This actually, the funny thing, I've never talked to Carrie about this, but this rec center is where like I learned how to play basketball, was in this gymnasium. It was or we had our youth league basketball was in there, and we used to do our drills and things like that. I think maybe I only did that once. I don't know if I did it twice, because it would have been something where that would have run into wrestling season, or generally basketball and wrestling season are around each other. But I do remember going to that rec center and doing like basketball drills and other things. Um, and we haven't been involved with rec league stuff with our kids, which we probably, you know, should have been. I would have guess I would have figured I would have been already had them in rec league sports, and we just haven't. It's just not been a priority for us, and there's a lot of reasons for that over the years. But I'm excited to have this 2-month membership. Check it out, see how it goes, and hopefully it'll help me kind of get past this 200-pound down plateau. Soccer. They do soccer. Is that what Carrie is saying? Oh, we can do soccer indoor with the kids at the rec center. Yeah, the little kids really are loving soccer. They played it this past year for a while, we did rec league soccer. I guess maybe that's what she's talking about too. But we haven't done baseball or anything like that. Let's see. I think that's about all I have for today. Diet's going great. Happy to be back on track. I was able to avoid the temptation last night. But their pizza, our pizza was great. I think that probably helped with avoiding the temptation, was that I was happy with what we had. So I didn't feel like I needed to try what they had. And then gonna weigh in tomorrow. Gonna start back up with the regular Wednesday weigh-ins. Hopefully that helps keep me accountable. Miso tonight, so I'm definitely gaining 8 pounds just tonight. So plan on that. Why'd you have to make miso tonight? Come on, I shouldn't be eating. No. I'm happy with where I'm at. So even if I'm up a bunch of weight, which I will be up a bunch of weight, I'm not disappointed. I continually have to look back at where I was a year plus ago, and I'm nowhere near that. And the way I'm eating, I may not lose weight fast, or I may be stuck at this. Carrie says miso for me, salad for you. I'll try the miso. I'll give it a shot. But yeah, it's I'm just looking forward to the next couple months and getting through this, past this 320 pounds, breaking down under 300. That's really going to be a huge goal, especially now that I've been hanging out at this 315, 320 for 3 months. Once I get under 300, that's going to be a huge plateau to break. And I'm hoping that it's just a blip in the end, that it's, crush it. So, I want to thank you guys for checking out my broadcast. It is really what keeps me doing this, just the accountability. I know that if I wasn't worried about weighing in tomorrow, that I would be eating more food, and I don't need to eat more food. Eating less food is definitely what's going to help me lose weight. So, and that's, like I said, that's why I want to bring back these weekly weigh-ins, because I feel like I lost some of that accountability with the monthly weigh-in, and just kind of being able to get by the last few months. So, thanks again for checking out the broadcast. If you haven't already, make sure you do subscribe to the channel, join the family, click on that bell icon so you get alerted when I go live, which is generally 4 p.m. on weekdays. Also, if you want to follow up more, you can join our Discord. The link for that is down in the description below. We also have a Pinterest that has a lot of the recipes and meals that we're eating. That is also down in the description below. Thank you guys. You all have a great evening. If you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nothing coming up it's more important than getting your health under control. And if you started right now, by the time Christmas rolls around, you're 25 days into a diet, 24 days into a diet, and you're already going to have huge changes. You may even have people notice within 20 days that something's different. But for that to happen, you have to get started right now. And nobody gets to the end. Nobody gets to their goal and looks back and gets asked, what would you change? Nobody says I would have started later. Everybody says I would have started sooner. So get started now. Appreciate all you guys. Have a great evening.